So first of all, what is Spectrum?
Well, Spectrum is a group run by MidKent College for LGBTQI young people, and it meets every Monday from 4 till 5, once a fortnight.
Okay. And what's your role within it?
Well, I suppose I'm a bit of a visitor, really. I represent an LGBTQI charity known as Metro, and our remit is to provide support, promote health and wellbeing for anybody that fits within that community. And we have a great interest in young people and promoting services for young people, which at the moment are very limited within Medway and Kent.
Okay, so I'm aware that February is LGBT month, which is obviously quite important for the people at Spectrum. Why is it that you think LGBT people need this particular month instead of kind of celebrating it all the time?
Well, to be truthful, I've not thought about why they need a month, but I think possibly there are so many diverse groups within our community today. It's rather magical when perhaps once a year a specific month comes around and the attention is focused on a particular group within our society, so that it raises the level of awareness that little bit more, because as I'm sure you're aware, there's the Stop Smoking Week, there's Black History Month, we have the Holocaust Memorial Days. So it's very important that everybody has a chance to be at the top of the pile.
And do you think that with these different months that we celebrate, that MidKent College does enough to support and represent all the various minorities, not just LGBT, but everyone?
To be truthful, I don't have a wide enough experience of actually seeing that in evidence, although I do believe that within certain departments it's being encouraged more and more so within personal studies and the personal tutorial groups. So hopefully it will carry on growing and expanding.
Okay, so I'm aware that you've been helping to kind of get people in LGBT to go to different events and such, like the fundraiser at the Ship-In.
That's
so
right.
What exactly happened there that night?
What exactly happened there? Well, first of all, everybody had fun. There was an entertainer, a drag act that was very funny, that helped promote and raise awareness about one of the services that Metro provides, but two in particular to increase awareness about HIV, sexual health awareness, mental health, and most of all to have a good laugh. Everybody, you know, fabulous comedian, lots of fun, games, encouraging people to join in and just actually be themselves and not worry. And the marvellous thing about the venue is, although many people think of it as being a gay venue, people of all sexual orientations go there, have a great amount of fun, whether they're heterosexual, perhaps exploring their sexuality, or already very sure and settled in where they're happiest.
Okay. So what are there any upcoming events that you'll be hoping to get the people of Spectrum to attend to?
Well, because it is LGBT month, there are lots of events going on. This Friday, for example, there's an art exhibition in Chatham at the Nucleus Arts Centre, having its grand opening on Friday at 6 p.m. And it has got the LGBT theme, and it is rather classically named Pride and Prejudice, which some people find quite amusing. I don't have the dates to hand, but I know later in the month, and I believe it might be about the 18th, there are events being held at the local universities as well. And I believe that, you know, it's very possible to find out from the universities, the LGBT group there, student group there, when their events are. And if you'd be kind enough to give me your details, I could forward across to you anything that comes my way. Because I seem to be getting emails coming in all the time at the moment. Did you know so-and-so was on? Did you know so-and-so was on? So it's quite exciting. The momentum's really picking up. And I think it's partly because people are more sure, more relaxed and more supported by society to actually be who they truly are.
So at the moment, I've been to Spectrum myself, and I'm aware that there are about kind of 10-ish people that are currently going, and as there are 7,000 people currently at college, do you think that Spectrum is really representing all of the LGBT students in the college?
It is estimated that about 8% of the population are perhaps homosexual or bisexual or asexual. So I would expect within every class of between 20 to 25 students for there to be some person who would fit into that bracket. Perhaps there wouldn't all be one in every class, obviously, but so that's a much higher proportion than are attending Spectrum. Possibly they're not aware of Spectrum, and possibly they don't feel confident enough to step out and make a statement within an environment. Perhaps it's a bit more of come along, join Spectrum, realise it's a very friendly, open, welcoming, non-critical environment and place to be, a very supporting environment. But of course, again, there are people who maybe feel they don't need to do that. It's a very personal journey, but it's good to know that there's somewhere there if you need it.
Okay. So you said that many students are perhaps not aware of Spectrum. So
Yeah.
how do you think that could increase awareness of Spectrum and encourage more people to come along?
Possibly through something on the intranet, student intranet, posters, which may or may not be in prominent places. I can remember being a student and a young person, and when there are lots of posters and lots of information, I'm afraid one doesn't always read them. The best place to place any piece of information is in the inside of a toilet door, funny enough. So I am told. I don't know the statistics, but perhaps that's something to bear in mind. And possibly through personal tutors, and maybe just trying to organise fun events for people to come along to.
So, good. You've been clearly coming and attending the meetings.
Yeah.
Overall, do you think that it is very worthwhile for someone who is LGBT to come along to Spectrum, that the activities within the club are something that would definitely help? Or is it more just kind of a fun environment, or do you think it can really help?
Well, I haven't been very often yet. I'm very new to the group, so what I've witnessed is the fact that it's student-led, and I think that perhaps with more people coming along, the lead role could perhaps be supported a little bit more so that everybody's ideas come forward. And I think you've actually brought up a point that could be put into the next meeting or the next couple of meetings, actually sitting down and talking about what do we want this group to do. So it's student-led, student-focused, and perhaps have an open discussion about what those who are attending feel are their particular needs and why they feel it's necessary or just plain old enjoyable to meet together and talk and have a bit of fun.
If you could choose, what would be your main agenda for Spectrum, your kind of main aim of the club?
My personal aim and professional aim would be to open the group up to a much broader audience and perhaps do exchange visits to other LGBT youth groups, either within universities, upper schools, or perhaps within the community. I'm aware that there aren't any local LGBT educational based groups, but there are some within outer London that aren't too far, so perhaps join up for certain events, because the only really big one is down at the coast near Margate once a year, so that can be quite expensive for people to get to. So it could be possible to perhaps try and link up together and pool an event with other local groups or with schools possibly.
Okay, well, thank you for coming.
Thank you for your time.
I know that you're the president of LGBT. What made you decide to do that?
Well, at first I wasn't aware of it, and then my personal tutor came along and said, look at this, are you interested in it? So I went home, looked at the role because I had a nice description of what I would have to do, and I thought, yeah, why not, let's give it a go. It sounds good, I want to help a lot of people, do a lot of things in college, why not?
Have you been able to reach out to a lot of people in the college?
Yes, yeah, quite a few people actually. Do you want me to go into it or? Okay. Well, it's not just people inside the college as well, it's people outside of it. So I've got in touch with Kent Union, I've also got in touch with Metro, who can then spread the word more there. But with events and stuff like that here, a lot of people have gotten to know about it and have come up to me and spoken to me about Spectrum.
Well, being the president must be very time consuming. How long do you reckon that you spend organising meetings and activities and stuff?
A good day or two each week.
What kind of activities have you been arranging?
Well, there's the ones that we do in the Spectrum group, so just like little team building activities, you know, people to get to know each other and stuff like that. But there's the ones that happen through Spectrum but outside of it, so like petitions and gigs and things like that. And they all, you need a lot of people to be able to put it all in place. And that's probably what's most time consuming as well, just waiting for everyone else to get back to you.
So you're in your final year at MidKent. Do you plan to carry on your work with LGBT in other places once you leave?
I'm planning to go into NUS LGBT, National Union of Students, when I go to university, so yeah, stick with it.